All right, so I've heard, things kept floating around on like the Big Cubers Discord and speed solving forums and everything else about this thing called the Dorito Mod. Never heard of the thing in my life, so I started looking into it, and it looked like it required you to cut into your cube. I'll put a couple of pictures up on screen after the modding of these two cubes. But I've done the Dorito mod on the Hong 5 and the Aoshi 6, and let me tell you, it was the best decision I ever made, especially for the Hong. Now, to preface this whole video, I want to say that none of these are my original ideas, and if you are interested in maybe buying one of these, I know a great guy. His name is Junior Solis. I'll link his channel down below. He has some great mods for big cubes and other puzzles. Go support him because I guarantee you he will blow up very quickly, and he needs all the support he can get. So the Dorito mod is essentially taking big cubes that have too much contact on the inner surfaces and cutting into the edge piece to not only make the layer lighter, but also get rid of some of the contact points and some of the friction that you would see like with bigger puzzles like 5x5, 6x6. I have not tried this on a 7x7 yet. I'm currently in the process of trying it, but it's taking a long time to cut that many pieces, so it's going to be a while before I can make an honest opinion. But especially on the Hong 5x5, I actually contemplated buying a GAN 5x5 because I was starting to struggle with the inner layers on this because it was starting to get to that really crunchy point where it's hard to turn, they lock up a lot. So I did the Dorito mod because I figured, hey, I've already got the budget, so if I end up messing it up, I'll just get the GAN and I'll move on. But I didn't mess it up, and I will not be buying the GAN anymore. I got a 102 PB single and a 112 PB average on this cube the other day, and I averaged nothing near that, so that's pretty cool. I've kind of fallen back into the 120-ish mark, but right away it changed completely. It feels like a completely different cube now, and it's super nice to solve on. I'll throw up a couple solves here or there maybe, but man, the inners turn so much nicer. Like they're so much more fluid. Like they still catch obviously because it's a 5x5. Ooh, but something like Parody, I no longer have the issue with the inners feeling like super crunchy and stiff. They flow so much nicer, and it really helped with my solving because I didn't feel like I was doing something wrong. I'm able to kind of work with like faster turning now, and I'm starting to progress a little bit better now that I've gotten to that point, like being able to go that fast. And it's kind of the same story on 6x6, except the Aoshi doesn't necessarily need the mod. I mainly did it because it just kind of felt heavy to me, even though it's like super light. I did the mod, and people were kind of saying how it's like not really useful until your Aoshi is quote unquote dead, which is like it being super slow and not really turning well. But I figured if I want to beat that, I might as well just do it now and have a very, very fast 6x6. And again, best decision I've ever made. I recently got two sub 2 6x6 singles, which for me is insane. I average around 220-ish, in between 220 and 230 usually. So getting two sub 2 singles, and one of those sub 2 singles contributed to a sub 210 mean, which both of those times beat state record. So I now have sub SR results for 6x6, which again, completely crazy to think about. Um, that makes the 5th and 6th state records I've broken at home, actually, I found out. But this cube performs so much better than the stock one that there's almost no point in buying a stock one. At this point, I just say go buy a modded one because they're just so much better. Especially these very inner layers, there's almost no contact. Even though you only took out like a little tiny bit of plastic on these inner edges, there's like no contact whatsoever, and they glide. The outer layers are not modded in this process. Like, don't ever touch the outer layers. It's just these inner wings and inner edge pieces. You're never touching the corners or anything that would like affect the outer layer turning. So it might get a little goofy depending on what cube you use, but usually it's fine. You just got to make sure that you adjust your hand positions so that you're not turning layers you don't want to. But especially during peel up parity, like, oops, that's a bad example. These slices, there's nothing, like no friction. And obviously these are lubed, so there's lunar and weight 5 in both of these. I don't have anything else on me. I plan to do angstrom setups with both of them once I place my new order tomorrow, because I'm also getting a new Alfu. I might as well give you guys an update on that. The reason I don't have a 7x7 here that's been Doritoed is at Heartland Champs, they kind of broke my 7x7 during scrambling. So now there are some cracks in the plus centers, and it catches so often, and it exploded twice across my desk. The first time it wasn't near as bad, so I figured, maybe it's just rough turning. Second time, whole cube exploded. So I just put it in a bag, and I said, I'll just buy a new one. And so I'm getting an Angstrom Alfu, ordering it tomorrow, along with the Angstrom Lubes and FC Calm for both of these. I think I'm going to be able to put together a pretty sick setup with all of that stuff. Hoping I can do it right. So if you guys want a video of me like showcasing me putting like an Angstrom setup on these modded cubes, like let me know, please. I really want to do that, but I don't know if that's something people would be interested in. There are a couple of issues though when doing the Dorito mod. Number one is you have to be very careful with how deep you cut into the plastic. Let me just show you here. Okay, so you see here how far it goes to that edge, and it's really close to that edge. If you go basically if you go any farther, you're gonna end up clipping into this, and that's gonna leave some stress marks. And once it leaves a stress mark there, you can't get rid of it, and the cube is no longer WCA legal. So this process is extremely tedious, because you want to be really careful to make sure you don't go too far. Otherwise, you don't have a cube anymore. The other problem with doing the Dorito is if you don't know how much to take out or where to take it out, it can really end up ruining your cube. I'm not going to show how to do it because I don't feel like exposing the secrets of us cube modders. And I recommend, if you're really interested in it at all, talk to Junior. I'm sure Junior can help you out. I just don't want to expose anything, especially with somebody like Junior in this business. I don't want to, just make everybody do it on their own and then not choose to support modders. Like, we don't necessarily beg for people to buy from us, but it really does help. And I think Junior is going places. He really needs the support more than anybody. Like, his mods that he's been doing recently are crazy. Like, I'm not even going to tell you everything he's done. You can go just check out for yourself. But it can be difficult to do, which is why I respect the people that do it for business. So really, we've been sleeping on this mod. Like, this mod is making so many cubes so much better. Like I said, I almost got a sub 1 5x5 single. I'm bad at 5x5, guys, and I almost got sub 1. And then 6x6, just two sub 2s out of nowhere. It was a wild night. So really, look into this mod. This mod is probably the best thing you can do with your big cubes if they're turning slow, especially the Hong. I really recommend buying a modded Hong, because the inners are they flow so much better, to the point that I'm sure you could get even faster times at that point. Like, people have been saying how the Hong like just dropped their times, like it did with me too. I tried doing solves on my MGC and I was still averaging like 135, 140. And I go back to this and I'm basically sub 120 on some days. So definitely look into getting one Doritoed, and potentially look into having some other mods done by Junior. He does some pretty cool stuff with big cubes. And then 6x6, I wouldn't say worry about Dorito modding your Aoshi. I've heard doing the Dorito on the MGC 6x6 worked really well for some people, but at that point you might as well just buy an Aoshi. If you haven't bought an Aoshi yet, go ahead and buy the Dorito modded one from Junior, um, or you just buy an Aoshi in general. But the Dorito does help quite a bit with the inner layer friction. Like, I'm doing slice turns so much nicer than I ever have been, and the mod really helped with that. I don't think I would have ever tried cutting up these cubes had I not known that it was going to be good. I contemplated it for a long time because I didn't really have the money to replace the cube if I ruined it, and to be quite honest, I don't feel like ruining a $50 or $45 cube right now. But both the mods turned out really, really well, and I'm very glad to see that I finally I'm in on the secret. I'm thinking about potentially trying to do it on the Alfu. It all depends on how well it turns. I didn't have any problems with my previous one, but if it has anything similar to the effect that these mods had, I'm sure it's crazy. I will be making a video with the Angstrom Alpha for sure. I'm not 100% certain if I'm going to make any other videos with any of the other cubes, or if I'm going to make a big unboxing with the whole order. I mean, other than that, that's basically all I got to tell you. We've been sleeping on this mod for so long. We need more cubes to be Doritoed. So, like I said, go check out Junior. He's got tons of killer content you can go watch. But obviously, don't listen to me. I'm just some guy sitting in his room modding cubes. You can go look for yourself. Like I said, I'll link him down below. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Peace.